Sir,
Yes.
good afternoon, sir, and my friend. I am Drbabrata going to discuss about the basic concepts of mother tongue and target language and their significances. First of all, we'll take the basic concepts about the language, mother tongue, and target language. Now, what is language? A language is a structured system of communication. Language, in a broader sense, is the method of communication that involves the use of particularly human languages. The scientific study of language is called linguistics. Estimates of the number of human language in the world vary between 5,000 to 7,000. Now, what is mother tongue? Mother tongue is one's native language which is learned by children and passed from one generation to another. It is his natural language. Mother tongue is the language that one learns from his parents when he is a baby. Another definition for mother tongue is that language which denotes not only the language one learns from one's mothers, but also the speaker's dominant and home language. That is, not only the first language according to the time of acquisition, but also the speaker's ability to master its linguistic and communicative aspects. Here, one thing to be noted, mother tongue is closely associated with culture. Hence, it is the language community of the mother tongue, the language spoken in a region which enables the process of enculturation, the growing of an individual into a particular system of linguistic perception of the world and participation in the centuries old history of linguistic perception. For example, in case of West Bengal, we are growing up in the Bengali culture and the language Bangla makes us a community touch of the Bengali culture. It varies from region to region. I'm skipping one slide. Now we are coming to the significance of the concept of mother tongue. It is significant from the social perspectives, which I have already discussed. Mother tongue is one's social, linguistic, and cultural identity. An individual is born into a group, he identifies himself to that group. As for this reason, an immigrant, he faces an identity crisis when he goes through a process called acculturation. Second, it is significant from emotional perspective. Mother tongue is the important instrument for emotional development of a child. It is also significant from cognitive perspective. It is the ability to think, judge, create, rationalize, and comprehend, which are essential for intellectual development. It is called that if we don't understand the mother tongue with which we are acquainted with, it is not possible for us to be very good in comprehension of the other language. Now, what is the target language? Target language is other than one's native language that is being learned according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary. It is the language into which a text, document, or speech is translated. Now, what is the significance of the concept of target language? It is the situation of bilingualism in educational institutes. It includes both second language as well as the foreign language. A second language is a language other than one's first language. It is usually used as a medium of communication. For example, in government, law code, and education. And a foreign language is a language which is not a native language in a country. It is usually studied either for communication with foreigners or reading printed material or research purpose. It is learned language in contrast with the first language that is called the L1, which is acquired language acquisition device. Noam Chomsky propounded this term. Language acquisition has long been thought of a process of imitation and reinforcement. Children learn to speak in the popular view by copying the utterances heard around them, and by having their responses strengthened by the repetitions, corrections, and other reactions that adults provide. It is generally argued that children must be born with an innate capacity for language, in the sense that when a child is exposed to speech, certain general principles for discovering or structuring language automatically begin to operate. Here I'm giving an example where I will see the comparison between first language and the second language acquisition. Actually, the second language is not acquired, it is learned, where the first language is the acquisition. First language comes in our subconscious mind or unconsciously, but where when we learn the second language, it is very much consciously. First language is implicit, but the second language is totally explicit. To acquire the first language, it is effortless, but to acquire or learn the second language requires much effort. First language is picked up, but the second language is learned. Noam Chomsky propounded that the universal grammar is the basis upon which all human languages built. According to Chomsky, children are exposed to very little correctly formed language. When people speak, they constantly interrupt themselves, change their minds, make slips of the tongue, and so on. Yet, children manage to learn their language all the same. This claims is usually referred to as the argument from poverty of the stimulus. Children do not simply copy the language that they hear around them. They deduce rules from it, which they can then use to produce sentences that they have never heard before. They do not learn a repertoire of phrases and saying, as the behaviorist believe, but a grammar that generates an infinity of new sentences. It is to be noted here when we tell that a child acquires the first language totally, but it is not true. Now, the some tips for a target language classroom. Have a realistic expectation, because we expect much more from the students when we are learning the second language. We set short and long-term goals here. We have to use gestures, body language, and visuals. We should not back away from the target language to be nice. We should expend definitions of authentic text for comprehensible input. We take a feedback that provides target language clarification. Thank you.